Guys, I think the back-to-back the Leafs just had in Florida. I'm not a Leafs fan. I'd rather have my eyes gouged out than become one. I feel like everyone outside of Leafs Nation, I think, just got a taste of what it feels like to be a Leafs fan for the first time, like really understood it. Because that Tampa game, I saw Austin Matthews play, and I thought, I almost put in the doc, if they play the Bruins in the first round, I think the Leafs are making it to the third round, no problem. Because I think they can beat Boston. The Demons are slaying, and I think they would make it. I didn't want to put it on the doc, though. Because I was
Someone
like,
put it on the doc.
Oh, did I put it there then?
I think you did.
I did.
Well, it wasn't me. I assure you.
I put if they face Boston in the first round, they're going to the finals, which maybe I should. I put that before the Florida game. Now, the reason I say, like a typical Leafs fan might feel, I then saw the Panthers game and went, oh, I know how it feels. It was 5-1. Leafs lose 7-6 in overtime. There's a lot to get into here. Where would we like to start?
Well, I think it would be completely unfair to talk about both games in one because they're quite drastically different games. Actually, it's 5 periods of, you know what, wow, and 1 period of, oh, wow.
So let's get to the Tampa one first because I do think it's a quicker discussion, right?
Sure.
Because it was, so Jack Campbell was in that for it, obviously, great guy. Love that sort of stuff. We can talk about the Simmons stuff too, but like, I just want to like, before I throw it to you guys, because I just want to say like one thing about Matthews. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes when McDavid scores goals, you're like, he made that player, that defender look like they're playing Pee-wee.
Yeah.
Matthews makes scoring goals look easy, which besides like Ovechkin, I don't know how many guys in the league are capable of that. It looks effortless.
It's not that he makes it look easy to score. It's that he makes it look easy to score against the best goalies.
That's a lefty.
The deflection goal, that one was like, wow, beautiful.
I think like I'm very high on Vasilevsky. I think he's incredible. Yeah. He made it look easy on the best goalie in the league.
Mm-hmm. And that was like I know McDonough's out, and I think I want to have a discussion like toward a little later when I want to look at the East because I think people aren't talking about goaltending in the East specifically. It's not just Toronto and Florida have question marks. We'll get to that later. But even with like, and forget about the Leafs. Muzzin. I can't remember if Muzzin's first game was against. It was against Tampa.
It was against
right?
Florida. No,
it was against Florida. Never mind. Yeah. So they didn't have Muzzin for that game. They haven't had him. Campbell's just come back, so that's sort of the balanced out there. But it did not feel like that was a statement game by Toronto.
Yeah. Every few months on the podcast, I have to reiterate the point that the reason why I'm not completely off of believing true, like I still believe in this team, nothing like I did maybe at the beginning when we started this podcast, but there's still this sense of belief because they pull games like that out. They pull games like the way they played against the Bruins literally last week and against the same 2 teams a mere 2 weeks ago. Like there are statement games where they come out and they play a really, really good game against the best teams in the league. Like you can be an ass about it, but they're a good team. Like I think it's purely a fact. They're fact. You might not believe in facts, but this is a fact. They are the 4th best team in the NHL at this moment. Fact. You cannot dispute that.
Is that the standings or?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. I was about to say, okay.
They are good. It just, I agree with Alex that there's these games that the Leafs kind of in a way, like they reintroduced themselves, and in case people got back into I call them cliches or the old habits of saying, oh, the Leafs are never like this good, or, they're just a fake contender in the sense. It's just, sometimes I just kind of feel like after these statement games or a good stretch of these 1 or 2 statement games, there is the next game we're going to talk about is the 7-6 game. And I think that is bad. Like, that is horrible. That wasn't a good game to really finish off. But at the same time, I think there's too much focus on those types of games, saying that that's the identity of the team and that's all we have, which is not true.
Just some numbers I have from Hockey Reference here. The Toronto Maple Leafs, the league average is 216 goals for. The Leafs are 268. If we're looking at goals against, they're basically league average, but that's like the goal scoring is what this team is built on. Goals for per game, they're 3.83. They're a 30% power play. I haven't checked it, but I'm pretty sure that has to be at least top 3 in the league. Their PK is above league average at 83%. Like it's just fact that they are a very, 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 very good freaking hockey team.
Their special teams are not an issue. This might be the first year in the I'll call it the Austin Matthews era where special teams are not an issue.
Power play finally popped.
Power plays popping. Ilya Mikheyev scoring shorthanded goals. Like I didn't even know he could score, let alone shorthanded. So like it's not the special teams are finally not an issue.
I'm just looking at some of the scoring on the team, and like Morgan Riley has 60 points, which is the quietest defenseman like in the league right now. Well, I'm not sure to say Yossi because he's probably not getting enough attention, but like quietly, Alex Kerfoot's putting up nearly 50 points. That's not bad. Nylander's at 66, and he slowed
down.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Tavares is nearly point per game. No one's talking about that.
He's trash.
Mitch Marner, I love elite prospects so much. I love their projected seasons. Marner missed time in 73 games. He's projected for 102 points and is now a 31 goal scorer, which the level of confidence to his game too. It's a different Mitch Marner. And when we get to the playoffs, obviously people are going to say, "Yeah, Matthew, he'll be good." I don't know if this is a popular opinion or not. I think that the Leafs, beside the goaltending, because that applies to every team, I wonder if the Leafs go as far as Mitch Marner can take them. Because, and I am saying that well aware that they have the MVP on their team, but that's the question, is what Mitch's game does in the playoffs. That's what I'm really curious about.
And I think you're spot on, though, right? Because what happened last year? Let's go back to the Montreal series. Every time we talked about it on the podcast, what did the Philip Deneau line do? They shut down Austin Matthews. And you said it, Adam, on this podcast, that they left Mitch Marner because Mitch Marner was not a threat. Clearly, that's a fact. That's a fact, unfortunately. If Mitch Marner is, let's say we're going into round 1. Mitch Marner's on his game. Austin Matthews is on his game. That it's much harder to shut down 2 elite players than it is 1. I'd imagine that's a fact as well.
Pens are pretty good at that, aren't they?
The who?
The Pens are pretty good at the example of that, isn't it?
Yeah,
pretty
exactly.
Good defensemen too, and they're
exactly
2 big stars. Would you guys? Okay, I need someone to explain this to me because I was obviously watching the Habs. Mm-hmm. So the big rig, Mr. 3 consecutive Stanley Cups, Pat Maroon, yeah, and Wayne Simmons were jawing each other and they got game misconducts or something. What the hell happened there?
They got game misconducts for chirping.
Why?
Because they were being bad boys.
Could not tell you.
Like, what was that quote from Pat Maroon? The game's going in the wrong direction.
I mean, I saw that. I took that with a grain of salt because I did go back and look.
Okay.
When was the last time someone got a game misconduct for chirping?
I think people were. Sorry, Daniel. I'll say one quick thing here. I think people are a bit. It was after the Terry stuff, so maybe people saw that and they took it the wrong way. But yeah, I don't think. The chirp for chirping, like 10 minutes. I don't agree with that. Sorry, go ahead, Dan.
No, wasn't there like something I was reading that I can't remember the source, but it's alleged that the ref was saying this is not good for TV or something.
I saw
With the
that
chirping.
as
Yeah.
well, which is like, oh, now you care, Mr.
Take forever to
Referee,
drop the face off, and oh, look, you're going to take 10 minutes to do it. Oh,
Mr. NHL, Mr. Referee. Now TV's an issue. Really? I did see that as well, Daniel. Like, come on. Can and it happened against Winnipeg too. I don't remember who the other player on Winnipeg was, but it was Wayne Simmons and the guy from Winnipeg. And Kyle Clifford had just gotten into a fight, and they were just about to drop the puck and kicked Wayne Simmons and someone else out. Why? It turns out that they were going to fight. Can the NHL damn decide what they want with this league? Because this pettiness of back and forth of trying to appease people here and then trying to appease people there is not working, and you just look like you just look stupid.
For the start of the year when they were like, we're going to crack down on cross-checking. And then they stopped. It's like everyone's complaining about officiating lately. It will be like 12 games if we're lucky, and the playoffs are going to start, and everything's going to go back to normal.
Yeah.
Guarantee.
100%.
Most predictable sport in the world.
Well, we're going to watch for headshots.
How was Campbell in that game?
Which one?
Tampa.
I thought he was fine. Like, my first reaction was, and he did come in against Florida too.
Oh yeah, we will get to that.
Jack Campbell, and I'm going to issue an apology later because Florida was my fault. But I know I've criticized Jack Campbell. And I said, okay, he's not an elite goalie. He's not the 940 or whatever, the crazy stupid numbers he was putting up in the first couple months, but he's still a good goalie. I believe he's a good goalie. He's above league average, in my opinion. And I think, it's crazy what happens when you're not playing when you're injured, right? Like, I think this is what is happening, right? Is that unfair to say?
I've been I haven't been playing well for a while. Oh yeah, so I had a rib injury for a while. Comes back healthy and plays well. I think 1 + 1 = 2, my friend.
Right. So again, I'm going to be highly critical of the organization for allowing him to play injured. I understand your goaltender situation, but running out your starting goaltender who you've decided is your starter and it just it wasn't right. It wasn't right.
Okay. Florida.
Yeah.
Man, it's really annoying when you watch the Habs get pumped by the Sens. And you listen to Tim Stützle diving all game, and then you just see this insane game where it's like 13 goals scored in Toronto. I'm like, I caught overtime, but that was all I got to watch. Okay. Oh, how do we talk about this? Yeah, it was 5-1. Everyone knows that by now. I can't think of a more example of Leafs hockey than the past 48 hours. I really can't. Listen, first off, the Panthers are not off the hook here. Because at one point it's like, okay, so I think I texted you guys. No, we were all watching the game, I'm pretty sure. The Panthers, that was not the incredible comeback, the only comeback they've had in the past week. They did it against the Devils too. And they do it against the Leafs. And, being a big deficit, that's credit on the Leafs. You don't get credit for falling down that far down against the New Jersey Devils, who had to play Andrew Hammond at one point. I love Hammond, but that's not a good scenario. So the Panthers are not
Dawes
here.
Him.
Poor Nico Dawes.
That guy's getting killed.
Yes.
That's so. Let's make this clear. The Panthers are not off the hook here. Before we just go and rip on the Leafs, it's just we have more of a focus on them, obviously. But we will talk about the Panthers a little because Barkov and Huberdeau are so freaking good. Anyway, I just love how Alex puts, well, it's a game in the Google Doc. And I'm just like, how do you, what do we say? What do we say about it? What is this just the way that the Leafs are now? Is it just the sort of 8-6 games versus Detroit? And it's blowing 4 and 5-1 leads. And I'm not trying to be sarcastic here, but this is just what they are.
I mean, I guess that's one way of looking at it.
It's so strange. like I understand the thing of like all the scenarios people were talking about, the back-to-backs and all the games played and all that. I will say people weren't giving that credit to Tampa. And remember that road trip they went on where like their bus was breaking down? That was like 2 weeks ago.
Tampa's?
Yeah, they had a hell of one in Western Canada. It was legitimately, it was, I'm surprised they came out as many points. No one was talking about it. Am I just let me know if I'm off here, but I'm seeing so many Leafs fans. I like to think I'm a pretty reasonable Habs fans going towards the Leafs, but like, how are they so nonchalant about blowing a 5-1 lead? I went to a Habs game where they blew 5-1 against the Rangers, and I wanted to never cheer for that team ever again.
Because, okay, I'm going to explain this in a way that is probably not right, but I'm going to try it anyways.
Okay.
The fact is, this is my personal look at it. They are like, what do you want? Do you want me to be mad? Like, do you want me to, I can yell about it, but like, it's not worth my energy. It's not worth my time because we've established that like none of this matters. At the same time, the fact is they're 5-1-1. Okay. They're 5-1-1 against Tampa, Boston, and Florida this year. They played Tampa the night before. They played Boston, Tampa, and Florida over the last 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And then they dropped this, right? Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to think. Like half of those goals probably don't go in the playoffs simply because 3 or 5 goals last night were power play goals. And to be honest, half of those penalties probably weren't penalties to begin with. The lights just turned off, so I'm going to finish this and go turn the lights back on again. But like, what am I supposed to say? This is probably the best put Leafs team we've seen under the Matthews era. Like the way they've meshed, the numbers they're putting up, I think they're better than last year's team. I really do.
Yeah, 100%.
There's two things.
Like that's why I'm not as worried as you are, because it's happened before, but at the same time, this is the best team. And unlike years in the past, the way they played before Florida, the way they played Tampa, Boston, and Florida, I've never seen them play like that before. I mean that genuinely. As Daniel's lights also.
I'm gonna go turn on the lights.
Okay, you guys just go quickly. Do your thing. I'm just gonna make this.
That's my thing.
Yeah. And you can also extend it to that game against the Habs. The Leafs ran Montreal show that entire game. It was just Jake Allen was just playing on his head. It was incredible. As the gentlemen, they're both doing their excursions. Daniel, I think you were about to say something as you were the first sitting back down.
Yes. Okay. So I think there's two things I identified with what Alex said, and I hope my microphone is still okay. The first thing is, I think when it comes to these blown leads, and as being, I guess, the second biggest Leafs fan on this podcast, it's because we're desensitized to the blown leads.
Why does it sound like Stockholm Syndrome is the relationship Leafs nations have with their team?
Maybe it is. Like it's held us captive in a way that it's this fandom. It's like it hurts real good, if that makes sense.
I don't think it's Stockholm Syndrome though. Like, because it's not like, I think we're all extremely mad, but the thing is, why am I going to yell about it? What is the point?
Wait, I got another one.
Like, what is the point?
It's not tough, but like, it's a loving marriage with many challenges.
Dan, I don't know what to say to that. I can't comment on that. Being the ripe age of 22 and a half, really, if you think about it. I can't. Been in one relationship since high school. Can't really give you a real thing there on the marriage.
No, it's just like it's a typical thing where because Alex, you were a fan for a long time of the Leafs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a kind of thing where it's one of those. It's like those long lasting. I don't know. I'm using a marriage as an analogy. It's one of those long lasting marriages. You knew each other since you were so young, and you guys still bicker about each other, but you still love the flaws you have with each other because you love the person. So it's just kind of like, okay, this happened. This is not going to destroy the whole thing, but I am a bit disappointed in this situation.
You remember how in last episode I said I understand the points against Keith Yandel playing, but it still just feels wrong to me. I just feel so wrong about this. Like I don't know if I've experienced it. There is legitimately no other team in the league quite like the Leafs. They are truly unique.